Okay, let's talk about the pros and cons. Let's talk about the first one. The United States should substantially reduce its military support of Taiwan. The pro, it's a timely topic. That means that new things are happening every day. It keeps us on our feet. There's plenty of ground. Both topics are linked, so you can begin your research now if you haven't already. And there's plenty of backfile support because a lot of these arguments are the same arguments that have been used in other recent topics going back years. Now the cons. The cons have to do with the specificity of culture. The appropriateness of evidence. Remember, when we're talking about whether or not the United States should do something regarding Taiwan, well, we're talking about cultural differences. Taiwanese, United States, and China. There are different cultural differences there, along with different evidence. Whose evidence are we going to use? Will we have access to certain evidence? That's going to make it real interesting when it comes to challenges. There's also propaganda challenges. How much of the evidence or the arguments we're using can we say is true, or maybe just a United States point of view, or maybe a CCP point of view? There's a big issue with propaganda challenges. This leads way to what we call framework battles, known as K in some circles. Arguments over whether or not an evidence is biased, or we can trust the authors, or we can trust the thought process behind it, being communist or socialist or capitalist. There's going to be big challenges there. Again, adding to one of the biggest cons of this one, it's so broad. You can talk about just about everything, which means there's going to be a very steep ongoing research burden. You can't just walk in there and expect that you're going to have the latest, greatest information, because with China getting into problems with Japan just yesterday, weekly running into Philippine ships, it creates a burden where you have to be on this topic 24/7 to know what's going on. You don't want to walk into a round and someone says, oh yeah, that happened yesterday. Have you seen the new stuff? Moving on to the cons of the next resolution, which is the United States federal government should eliminate its intercontinental ballistic missiles. Pros, timely, plenty of ground. Both topics are linked. You should already be researching. Plenty of backfile support. In fact, too much backfile support. Teams that have backfiles are going to be at an advantage. Teams that have policy, they're going to be at an advantage. So if you know some policy teams, go get familiar with them, because a lot of these arguments they're going to already have. The most interesting thing about this topic, and it can be a pro or a con, is that it can collapse to framework. It can come down to simple arguments about the morality or feasibility of war before we even get to the point of whether or not we should talk about ballistic missiles as an aspect of that. And those are the cons. It's broad, it can favor bigger teams, and it is a huge ongoing research burden, because although the topic attempts to narrow it down to intercontinental ballistic missiles, those missile systems are used in everything else. The strategies that they adopt to use the intercontinental ballistic missiles are a mindset which opens the door to everything else. So it really is a huge, broad topic. I can't tell you how to vote. I can't tell you which one to go for, but I will tell you this. I favor the Taiwan topic because it's a little more narrow, and I think you'll get all the juice and all the riz you need from the Taiwan topic. You don't need the huge international war links that you would automatically get from intercontinental ballistic missiles. I think the two topics work well, but from a sake of just narrowing it a little bit, and because I live in the Southeast Asian region, I have to go for the first topic. But you choose what you want, and we will take it from there when next week I give you the breakdown, the full breakdown of the topic that is chosen. I'm Professor Hill. See you later. Have a wonderful day.